Let's talk about our warehouse management solution, consolidating picks and orders for a wave, and then the ability to be able to do zone picking for a route. So here I've got a sales order 857 and 856. Note they're for different customers, but on both sales orders, I've got the same items. And on this particular sales order, I have a different item as well, the A004. Let's go into the Pick Pack Manager of SAP Business One. I'm just going to choose from the date of today. Of course, you can run UDFs. You can use a whole lot of different fields there. So if I wanted to, for example, release a wave for run one or route one, then I could choose that and go and select and do that wave. I can group by document. Okay, so I can see that all the documents are grouped together. I'll click OK. So I can see if I open up an order, I can see the line. So that's what it means by grouping by. Here I've got 856, 857, two different customers. And what I'm going to do is release to one pick list. When I release, there's a number of questions here through the SAP Pick Pack Manager. Yes, I can release by FIFO, and yes, I can release batch numbers, and yes, I can release pick serial numbers as well. Once it's released, go into SAP. And what it's done here is created one pick ID. So it's a wave for multiple documents. Go into a summary view, one wave, multiple documents, multiple items to pick. Let's go into TB04. Let's go into picking straight away. So I'm just going to look for the last pick ID, which I know is 120. Go back into SAP, pick ID 120. I'm going to drive into the pick. There's multiple ways of driving into the pick. I can scan barcodes, I cannot scan barcodes. A003 was not released because it's an item with no stock. I go into the item, I can see order quantity 2, order quantity 8. Again, I drive into the pick ID, pick list. We can see 4 and 4 for that item, 8 and 2. So we've got a consolidated pick for item 2, because we know it belongs onto two different documents. It's one item, I pick it once. Here it is, pick it once. The A004 I can also pick. So I have one consolidated pick going to my warehouse. The next part is I might pack. I might pick all the items together, and then I may pack each order individually. We can go into our packing to do that as well. So I might have 10 orders here. They're all going to run one or route one. All the orders are being picked. I pick it together in one wave. I pick a consolidated order. So all the lines are coming together. I take it out and then I pack them individually. We find typically in the food industry, you do one wave pick and then packed multiple with multiple packers, and they pack each individual order individually because it's going on. It's going to be invoiced separately for each one, and it'll create a separate delivery document. So, for instance, I'm just going to pick all here and create a delivery document. So let's just know that we can do that in the WMS. Just for example here, just choose a relationship map. And the same thing here, we've got a separate delivery 4 and 2. And 856 separate delivery document for the items there. So we've picked it, if you like, in one wave. We've gone and packed it individually. You can pack it together. It depends on the process. The next part we're going to get asked about is how do we do zone picking? Well, in the inventory data, against the bin location for the warehouse, you must have bins turned on. Against the bin location, there are UDFs that we set. One is to say this one is a pick face, and there is another UDF here as well, which we can call zone. So we could call chiller, we could call dry, we could call freezer. So there are different zones. Now these are mapped when you go back into the TB04 and you look at pick list, these are mapped into the zone ID. And each picker in the settings in the warehouse is mapped to a zone ID. So if I'm Paul, can be mapped to zone ID freezer, and I will only see the freezer picks. If I'm, can pick against chiller and also dry, then I'll be mapped against chiller and dry, and I'll see those zones. Multiple zones can be picked in a wave, so you could have chiller picked in a wave, so you could have multiple orders belonging to chiller zone picked. You can have a master packer which consolidates those zones, so freezer, chiller, and dry, consolidate those together and then packed each order individually. It depends on the process and how you want it mapped out. The zone ID comes against UDF here called zone ID as well, and that's just a mapping that we have for our WMS with SAP Business One. I hope this all makes sense. Thank you.